Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley.
I am Connor Collins. Welcome back.
Well, Commander, you should probably be resigning because, you are genetically superior, being British and all.
Let me confirm. Okay, what does it say? Well, it's backwards, might not tell you.
Readings look normal-ish. I mean, everything superior does say British.
Well, we are your ancestors, Stuart.
That's true.
Now, it's funny, Stuart, before we start this video, this was going to be a let's discuss additional information. But just like last week with the Hura, which is sort of retcon thematically, this is actually kind of retcon, but not really, but it feels like a retcon because now we've done some research. Big change to a character.
Well, let's talk about Illyrians and Una.
Which, at the start, I thought was just a set of people, like many Earth colonies, because she looks human. Because I didn't remember the name. That's kind of how it portrayed to me.
Yeah,
but no.
I didn't get that sense. Yeah, if you watch our review, you'll see the discussion there. But yeah, I didn't get that sense. But apparently, the Illyrians have made an appearance before in Star Trek. So tell us a little about that, Commander.
So one of the really quite engaging episodes of Enterprise, in fact, going back that far, Enterprise Season 3, very good season. They're in the Delphic Expanse trying to find the Zindi, trying to stop the Sphere Builders, etc., etc. And there's a phenomenal moral choice episode where Captain Archer must barter and then steal a warp coil because the ends of saving all of Earth and the future justify the means of sabotaging this race in their journey home. And it plays heavy on everyone. It's a very good episode, and it's well played, and it's sad. And it turns out those guys are called Illyrians. And given that there are lots of new races in Enterprise, it's fair enough we didn't remember that. Because they looked very alien, a very alien ship. And they're from the Delphic Expanse, which is a specific location in the quadrant, which is kind of exciting. And the first time we're seeing an Enterprise race actually back for a while. Now, Una looks human, scans as human, and has whatevered for a long time. Everyone thought she was human. So this is a hell of a curveball for me, because that's not how I took the episode in any way. Kind of would have helped if they'd shown us a picture of a normal Illyrian, then would have kind of helped. But now, what do you think, having learned this as part of the research for this?
I thought that was really odd. I mean, reusing race, like species names in Star Trek isn't really a thing, so this must be specific. So does that mean she's been altered to look human? I don't know. Yeah, like you said, every medical scan to get into Starfleet, all the transporters she's been through, everything shows human. So it's just
not humanoid,
weird,
human.
Yeah, it's a weird retcon. I really thought this episode was going like Bashir territory, where she was augmented. That's why she's smarter. Yeah. That's why she's stronger. She could carry Hammer around no problem. But no, apparently she's just Illyrian. So
just an alien.
It's kind of an odd. Is there more deception going on in her part? Like, did she genetically have herself altered to be human?
Well, I mean, they say in the episode that now, I thought their humanoid colony, because they, she looks whatever, went out, did stuff, and then she says they genetically modify themselves to deal with a new environment. So they are warp capable. They go out and find planets. This is one of the many colonies abandoned, and obviously they all died. And so they're a spacefaring subset, and they do their own thing. And if they're genetically modified anyway, then that could mean that the Illyrians we see in Enterprise are also variants in themselves. They were genetically modified to deal with a planet differently than Una was, potentially. But we know the planet's from the Delphic Expanse, so we know she's from a significant distance. That is not close. Now, obviously, by the time at TOS, the warp drive's a lot faster, but she's made I'm guessing she was, her race was it was inspired by the Federation, but last time anyone from the race met the Federation, they screwed them over. And then how long will it take anyone to then meet them? And those people so there's a lot of weird backstory there, but certainly, assuming both views are canon, it'd be weird. They can retcon out TOS visuals every day of the week, but Enterprise seems weird given that there was the latest show of the Prime, so hard to kind of take that out. So I'm assuming then that in those however many years between Enterprise and TOS, we did meet the Illyrians. They were genetically modified anyway, and then Una decided to genetically modify herself to be human, like Tyler Vogt to some extent, but it was closer because they were closer. did that to herself because she said, first, as soon as she saw the star, she wanted to join Starfleet, which means obviously they knew about Starfleet. So she did that to alter herself to get away with it. And if that was the specific getting away with it vibe, then it would, I guess, confuse all scans. Although we know that Aaron Darvin, same time, is not. You can detect via a scan.
Aaron Darvin, yeah.
Thank you. So they aren't able to fully heal, but Tyler Vogt did, but that was a weird ending anyway. So I guess she's altered herself to look human to join Starfleet. So she is actively not looking how she did, or was the race humanoid and looked human anyway, in which case aren't they just humans, but they're not. Yeah.
I know what she did. She just ripped off her prosthetics. There, now I look human.
But it does, but just the nature of being an alien anyway, like the augment stuff doesn't feel as augmenty, she's just an alien with no idea what they had anyway. It kind of takes away from that. When we started this, we thought, okay, genetically modified humanoid, but just a race that is, I guess, stronger, and they just made them a bit even stronger. It kind of takes the mystique out of what we thought even just half an hour ago. Do her parents look alien?
I love how you use the term mystique when she played Mystique in X-Men.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's how she changed her appearance. She's actually blue underneath the Illyrian blue, and then she became human. There you
gotcha. Go. Yeah, there you go. That's the answer. No, I don't know. Like they added the backstory for Uhura, where her parents and her brother were killed, and it's good. Like, I mean, you want to flesh out these characters more. I guess.
Please do. Please do.
But Una, we didn't know anything about really. Hammer, Law and Union Singh, those are all fine. We did a video on the Uhura thing as well. It's just weird that we hadn't heard that before in all the time that we've known Uhura. But no, this is fine. It's just I don't know. She's a stickler for the rules. She has always been portrayed that way. Very Starfleet regs. Here she wants to resign as a result of it. Pike's like, no. And she's like, you know what? They're going to take you down with me if you help me. He's like, well, I welcome that conversation. And what are you going to do? Kick me out of Starfleet? Oh, I guess now that I can't help those cadets on those training crews. So I'm good. Thanks for kicking me out. But also the fact that
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, he would defend her. Yeah. He would defend her because he's everybody's first officer is the best officer in the fleet, except for Samuel. But you're the best first officer on YouTube, not in the fleet. Anyway, so I mean, I did like the little Pike line there, but. Yeah, I mean, it seems like a ship of breaking the rules. Pike's breaking the rules. Una breaks the rules a few times, not only getting into Starfleet, but also ignoring the fact that Lon punched her, ignoring the fact that Mbega is using the medical transporter.
Which he's breaking the rules as well by doing it.
Exactly.
Nurse Chapel breaks the rules actively by working with Illyrian DNA. That was a rule they said explicitly, like that's just illegal. So that was another thing.
Yeah.
Everyone's breaking the rules.
The Enterprise, I don't know. It's not so much a top tier ship in this show, I guess. Everybody's like a rule breaker. But
the Discovery people had influences. He was on there for 6 months, and everyone was, the rules were being broken as they were being written. But it's interesting because then she is by her very nature a walking contradiction, because there's a reason they're not allowed in Starfleet because of our past, and we've seen a lot of races in the Trek universe where these things are not so good. So there's a reason for it. There's safeguards, and if she can easily pick up this guy and other things implied, but because we know her, it's different. But it's interesting to be a walking contradiction, especially if she loves the rules. That must be a hard thing to deal with if she's literally a banned alien race, because not everyone gets a default approval to join Starfleet. I mean, it's a privilege, not a right.
That brings up Lon as well. Like they know she's genetically modified just because of her ancestors, so she's still carrying some of that, and yet she was allowed to join Starfleet as well. It's not like a big secret. She didn't change her last name.
They had a weird conversation of, oh yeah, everyone made fun of me for it, and I was still in it. Yeah, I mean, I get that. Yes, 12 generations, it diminishes, and they've not shown anything with her with enhanced strength, speed, or intelligence. She's been just enhanced go-getter spirit, so currently she's just a normal human with the name. Currently is how it's vibing. But yeah, that was certainly, two augments in a room. But I guess human augment is different to alien augment, because at least the human augment, they have records of how humans were changed in primitive ways. But if this Illyrian race is actively changing their entire facial body structure to survive on planets, that's much bigger. I mean, I don't think Khan would ever get glowing red veins. So clearly the Illyrians are far further on a genetically modified spectrum, and we've seen how dangerous that can be in other Treks. So it's a lowercase Z level versus an A level, reason for a ban, etc. And obviously we don't allow genetic engineering past Nemesis, past TS9, so this is still the thing. So we'll see how that factors in, because now we know alien and modified what other powers or abilities she's hiding, because her skin does the whole thing. It's quite a big thing. Fights off disease instantly. Can she survive out of space? Can she go without oxygen? That's a huge thing we're doing. Kind of making her into a superhero, really, actually. Because it's more than just, Khan isn't everything, but she can do unknown, special, advanced power things.
Well, explains her genius, I guess. And also the fact she likes hot sauce. I don't know if you remember from Discovery, but she's a big fan of hot sauce. And I am too, so maybe I'm Illyrian. I don't even know.
Well, in fairness, I wouldn't necessarily call her a genius. She's just...
Well, she's like a walking computer, apparently.
She hasn't shown that like yet, though.
Multiple times. I know. Not in this, but... yeah, it was just kind of a weird curveball for me. Not a bad one, necessarily. It's just... And then to find out the Illyrians were already in Star Trek, and that was such an impactful episode, and I do remember it because it's the guy that plays Damar, who plays the Illyrian captain, and so it's very memorable, and like you said, it's a very moral centric story. Like what Archer has to do in that is just heartbreaking, but man, I don't know. Did they not realize that there were Illyrians before? Like, did they know this and write it as such, or did they just pick a really cool name and just not know? I don't know, man. It's concerning to me a little bit.
Well, it doesn't make sense that I'm sure with subtitles it has the same spelling as the one from Enterprise, so you're not gonna have the same. Yes, I know monkeys on typewriter can invent Shakespeare again, but the chance of these writers 20 years later come up with the same weird 6-letter word, the exact same spelling, is not likely, because obviously any Trek writer would Google the thing they come up with first, if they were good writers, to see, has it been done before, has it been... and given how many humanoid species there are in Trek, undistinguishable, but, like I said earlier in this video, that might play super interesting to seeing her parents, and they both have different genetically modified faces, one looking like the Enterprise guy, one looking like something else, where each subdivision, if changing themselves is so normal, and we saw in episode 1 how they temporarily change a genome to make their face look different. If that's sort of allowed, but okay, if now you can do that on a permanent basis as much as you want, then she might have parents are radically interesting in their appearances and just happen to be that one crew. But it is obviously undermine the episode slightly of Enterprise, because that was obviously intended to be, that was their look, that was their species, that was their vibe, and to go back and say no, they're all genetically modified, and
well, there could be a tie-in, because they do say instead of terraforming, they basically altered their bodies, and the capsule that Spock and Pike find does say that they really wanted to join the Federation, to the point where a lot of them agreed to stop doing the augmentations. Could be that one of the initial ideas was to make themselves appear pretty much human, as a way to maybe garner more credibility from Starfleet, maybe even infiltrate Starfleet and just find out, what they can do to perhaps join the Federation. But that seems like I'm really stretching there.
And also, you're creating a fake mask of human on top of you're undoing your alien vibe. That seems dodgy, and I don't like that as a vibe. Just undo
I don't either, but I'm just
your
trying to...
strength and speed. No, I get what you mean. Just be proud of your appearance. Don't hide it behind a human face, etc.
But you'd think there would be different factions on the planet. Some that would be more, open to doing things a little bit more deviously to try to either...
Well, this isn't their homeworld, though. So this is a colony, and we never got a big sense of a big colony, and clearly they've got lightning storms regularly, which is what they say, it was, I would assume, only a couple of years old. I would assume, like, if they were the faction that said, oh, we want to join the Federation, we made a new colony, because we're warp capable, so we just moved to a new place. There's like 500 people, like the, Baku slightly, and they try to undo it. Undoing it undid them. They get made lightning beings and then moved on. So, hopefully we'll see other, Illyrians. But I would like to know how far this place is from the Endeavor Expanse thing, because that's, where the hell is Enterprise going if it's missions? Because this has got to be deep in Federation space. I mean, it is, but, we're interested to see their travel route in this show.
Well, as you said, I mean, the Delphic Expanse was in the NX era, and this is quite a while afterwards, so more advanced ships, more advanced drives, so yeah.
It's interesting. Curveballs.
It is, and we want to hear your thoughts on it as well, guys. Be part of the conversation. This is probably something we're going to talk about during a live at some point as well, just this whole debate. So if you want to join us for those, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Please like this video and comment down below your thoughts. If you don't want to join the live, you just get your opinion out there. Comment down below, and if you can join us for live, we'd really appreciate it, because you can help us not only by interacting but in other ways as well.
Yep, supporting the channel directly is great. You can buy shirts or other memorabilia, links down below, or support us monthly on Patreon or join the channel, or you can super thanks if you enjoyed this sort of content where we do a discussion really in depth, really nuanced, really down there in the weeds, because who else is going to do that? And that's great. So support us via super thanks in the comments down below. There's a little money icon, I suppose, and just, hey, thank us if you would like. Or super chat during us lives. Really great ways, really supportive ways. And you're part of the conversation because we really want it, need it, and love it. Thanks in advance.
That's right. So until next time, I'm pretty sure I'm a human, but I'm Captain Foley.
I mean, my Tricorder says human, but I mean, we've already established that doesn't necessarily mean the thing.
Yeah.
And I got it.
So.
Bye, guys.
See you.